I'm Jesse Pindis, the court jester, and you're watching Light TV. So Carl Barks's Uncle Scrooge stories were the first comics I ever read as a kid. So it was a thrill to go back and reread this classic adventures in this terrific collection from Fantagraphics. What I really love about this volume is the story analysis. Even the short stories and one-pagers, which I don't remember having so much been written about, are analyzed in this volume. So anyway, Carl Barks is one of the great unsung heroes of comics. He was called by Will Eisner the Hans Christian Andersen of comics, and was an inspiration to many on the comic scene today, including R. Crumb, Harvey Pekar, Art Spiegelman, Steven Spielberg, and George Lucas, who provides an introduction to this book, and admittedly borrowed the famous boulder trap in Raiders of the Lost Ark from Uncle Scrooge's Quest for Cibola. Even the creator of anime manga, admittedly, owes a lot to Carl Barks. I'd say one reason for Barks's relative anonymity is because his contract with Disney seriously forbade any name to be published in the comics but Disney's own. I seriously feel that if he were only given a little more credit in his own time, that Carl Barks would be a name as known to comic fans as Stan Lee. So Barks' stories were always filled with a wealth of adventure, humor, satire, and imagination. He often took up real-life events such as the Klondike Gold Rush, where Uncle Scrooge made his first million, and classic myths and legends such as the lost city of Atlantis. Some of you may be familiar with Uncle Scrooge only through the TV series DuckTales, especially if you were my generation. Anyway, which is fine. That's how I got into Barks in the first place. But anyway, Uncle Scrooge may seem like just a money-hungry, stingy duck, but he's actually a really complex, multifaceted character, as you should see in these stories. Even Denny O'Neil would say in the DC Comics Guide to Writing Comics that Uncle Scrooge is actually one of the greatest characters in the history of comics. He's adventurous, honest, hardworking, greedy, but also a bit generous at times, such as in Back to the Klondike, where he secretly lets Glittering Goldie, his contemporary prospector in the Klondike, and an ambiguous love interest. Anyway, he lets her find his own claim of gold and lets her keep it. In a medium obsessed with superheroes, I would say Scrooge sort of represents a different a human sort of heroism. And he worked his way up from nothing, and he's just fighting to keep his treasured memories and make some more of them. I think one thing that helps make these stories as great as they are is that they were not affected by the Comics Code at the time they were produced, since Dell Comics was for some reason not part of the Comics Association, which allowed them to get away with more. Not that the Duck Comics ever showed gratuitous sex and violence anyway, although there is at least one case of censorship in which Uncle Scrooge seriously takes on an entire bar by himself in one panel that I would say seriously shows as much action as any Marvel superhero fight. And then he forcefully grabs Glittering Goldie and takes it to his claim and to prospect with him. Barks was always careful never to present Scrooge or Donald or any of his main protagonists as too good or too evil. All my good guys had bad streaks, and all my bad guys had good streaks. So Barks's art is every bit as fascinating as his writing. While bright and cartoonish, Carl Barks shows on every panel that he's a master of composition, layout, shading, and he actually didn't have too much formal training either. His only formal training was a correspondence course from the Langdon School of Cartooning. And according to Don Rosa, one of Barks's biggest fans and followers, the panel in the titular story, Only a Poor Old Man, which shows his billions of coins bursting through a dam, is one of the single greatest panels in the history of comic book art. He can seriously give a lot of artists on today's scene a run for their money. His oil paintings done after he retired from the comics of the Disney Ducks look to me as every bit as beautiful as Alex Ross's paintings of superheroes. And in today where writing, penciling, and inking are all separate jobs, Barks did it all himself and extremely well. So to conclude this review with a shameless plug, I have to admit that my very first published article was published in the August 2010 Carl Barks Fan Club newsletter. It was actually a comparison of Barks' Scrooge story to a Greek play by Aristophanes. So anyway, thank you, Carl, from the bottom of my heart. I hope that Barks and the Ducks will entertain future generations as much as they have mine and the one before mine.